Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Planet Coaster. Make sure you leave a like if you are enjoying the series, and if you want to continue to see more in the future. Today we're working on something that I'm sure will make a lot of people happy, and that is actual rides. So far in our theme park, our Renaissance medieval themed theme park, that sounds weird to say themed theme park, we only have one ride, which is in our little dwarf village. So I decided to add something to just kind of spice up our little bay area, because a lot of people were saying the lake and the river area looks kind of looks a little boring because it's the big blue fake water. So I decided to grab this boat ride and throw it on over, and I think it comes out pretty cool. We tried a couple different things throughout building this. Some of them work, some of them don't, but I think the end result came out pretty good. Now initially, since we can't change the color of this ride, we have the yellow base on there. I wanted to cover it somehow, so I had an idea of just using these roof tiles, the blueness, to try and make it blend with the water. Well, the fake water, it's not actual water, it's just more tiles, but we end up not going with it. And the reason is, it just doesn't look very good. And the theme I come up with later looks a little bit better. But it's important to see things like this, because this is the experimentation process of building, so not sure if that things are going to work or what's going on. I wanted to cover up those corners. I was trying to figure out a way to do it, maybe some rocks or something. And then I was thought, okay, maybe we could just kind of make it seem like it's resting on some rocks. They're sticking up the water, like maybe the boats run aground or something. You know, there's kind of the rocks that I don't know what the names of them are. I've spent my life in Arizona. I don't know water terms, but you know what I mean. And I was like, okay, maybe we can just wrap it around with these blue tiles. See how that looks. It comes out all right. It wasn't really looking like I wanted to. It would be better. Like, this is the lowest it would let me put it. You probably saw at the beginning, I tried to lower the ride lower into the water to make it kind of blend. Because that'd be cool if it was like flush with it. But this was the lowest it would let me have it, unfortunately. That would have been the better solution, just to have it perfectly level with the roof tiles. But it wouldn't let me do that, so I was like, okay, this will work. Then just adding some rocks here, kind of make that feel like a little cliff face. Then I know I wanted water spraying everywhere, because this is a water ride. Well, not literally water ride, but a water-themed ride. We don't have water rides yet. I'm hoping that's something they add in Alpha 3. I know it's planned, like a log flume or something, but not sure when. And then I wanted some actual wooden structure holding up these ones, so instead of just building it, I decided to take it over here and just copy and paste it, since we are going to use it multiple times. So I'm building just kind of like a dock support system, just kind of floating on the water. Well, that's at least the feeling I was going for. At least something more wooden themed or nautical or piratey, even though this is still supposed to be medieval. That ship's a little bit too advanced for the Middle Ages, but it's the only ship I got, so it's gonna have to work. And then just continuously working on this, then realizing, oh, those things in the back stick out too much. Should I remove them? But I like having the crosses on there, the kind of cross beam, so no. I decided just to take more of them and then just have it separated out, just so it covers that gap, so we can still put them there and still have the cross beams going across. So I ended up thinking this looked quite a bit better, just having an actual wood structure, so you can imagine it's some sort of like pontoon or something just floating in the water holding this up. Again, suspension of disbelief, it doesn't look very good. Well, it doesn't look realistic or anything like what I was initially going for, but I think it came out pretty cool. And deleting some sections off, just grabbing 2 and then 1 just so we can squeeze them in there. Just covering up that yellow, because I really didn't like that yellow, it's kind of ugly. They've shown some screenshots for stuff that I believe is coming in Alpha 3, so hopefully we'll be getting that within the next month or so. And they have shown a lot different color options, so like all the walls and roofs and stuff you can actually change the color of, which I'm super excited for. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. And then I'm just starting to add some lighting all around here, experimenting kind of like, oh, maybe we can put a rock there with some lights on it, but this ride actually has its own lights, so it comes out looking pretty cool at night. I let the game go to nighttime just so I could check out the lighting. Finishing up that one over there, because apparently I forgot one. Then realizing, you can't really see anything over these walls. They came out a little higher than I thought they would. I wanted them at like waist high. They came out quite a bit higher. And then for here, a lot of people said I should add some supports. Unfortunately, there's no support. There's no piece that would look good there, kind of at a 45-degree angle from the wall to the bottom. We have ones that go 45-degree angle the other way, but you can't actually flip those on the axis that makes them go upside down. So we just grabbed those things, just kind of stuck them up there. That was the best idea I could think of at the time. Then try to make the little entrance to the ship ride a little bit nicer looking. Filling it in and adding some lighting. And then just some seaweed all over the place. Just kind of fill in the gaps there. Looking pretty good. And now, there was some confusion about this. I even titled the episode wrong. So this whole interior area, this is not where the actual castle is going to be. This is the city. So these are the city walls. I actually titled an episode Castle Walls, which I did not mean to do. And a lot of stuff just happened. I'll explain it. So the city is going to contain the castle in the back, but it's also going to contain the majority of the rides, majority of the park, and a lot of the buildings. And over here, I've been building some new buildings, as well as copying some of the old ones over. These are just temporary. I'm going to build them over here and copy and paste them over into the actual city. But I wanted just a nice open area, just kind of build where I could duplicate them and mess around and select them. So we have a couple different buildings over here, and then I decided to, well, I've actually meant to record building them, but I forgot to record, so my bad. But I'm just working on a new building over here, kind of a large, in my mind, it's kind of like a big hotel or tavern. Yeah, okay. I thought I was going somewhere with that, but I guess it wasn't. These post commentaries are hard, because a large part of my commentating style is reacting to things as they happen, but while I'm doing this, there's not really much to react to because I know what's gonna happen. So it's a little weird. Not liking those top rows of windows, so I decided to take those off. Then adding some beams going throughout there. Just filling in again, trying to just break up the flatness of the walls. Looking all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. A lot of people like say these videos they sound different when I commentate over them, or just when I talk different, or just a different speaking style or something. I don't really know. Like I said, it's difficult for me to commentate after a video because most of the time I do it live, so it's a little bit different process, but I don't mind it. So you can see I have a couple buildings over there, and then I was like, okay, I wanted some sort of little shed, or like maybe a corral, not really corral, but a small stable for horses. So I'm kind of working through a different design here, trying out this. I like the orange bricks. They don't fit too well with the style that we're looking in. Unfortunately, they're a little bit too vibrant and orange. They don't really feel like they belong in a medieval park. So I'm not super happy with them, but I came out with a little structure here. Looks alright. Eventually just replaced it with wood. Fill it in there. So now we have a whole bunch of different ones. I'm going to be adding more. I'm probably going to do some off camera, or I should go through and build some more. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do it in the next episode, because we don't finish the town completely. Nowhere near. This thing is going to take a lot of buildings, because these buildings we're making right now aren't that big. They do fill up quite a bit of space. You'll see at the end of the episode, there's quite a bit of stuff going on there. And so I wanted basically a medieval city with rides scattered through it. So you're going to be walking through the buildings, through the alleyways, kind of to and from the rides. And the end result came out pretty cool. We're just throwing in a couple rides here and there. We actually end up moving that merry-go-round. But you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going over there, taking those buildings and copying and pasting in here. Kind of just trying to make the city organically grow as we build in it. It's kind of hard to explain, but they don't want to plan out too much. We do a little bit of trial and error throughout this. Not too much detailed editing and decorating, but as soon as we get the actual building, all the buildings in, it'll be a lot easier to get in there and edit some more and do a lot more detail. Then we're taking the stands over here, so that one is the food and drink stand for the entrance of the park. I thought, okay, that will fit perfectly right over that little entrance, or that little path. It looks good. And then over here, I wanted to build an actual building in here, kind of like a tunneled building, so it has a walkway through it. So we build an archway over, and I just wanted to line it up perfectly so it would fit in there. And then just trying to fill in the roof area. And then we're doing the old trick where we lay down some roofs. I don't know why I did it on both sides. I only ended up really referencing one, and then I just copy and paste it. But we laid on the roofs, just kind of give us a bit of a reference. Then we grab these doors, flip them over, and just start filling it in. Just cover the blue with brown, and there you go. Works pretty well. I don't really like the joints where they meet in the middle there. It's kind of ugly, the round parts. Maybe we could go and cover that. We had the same problem on another roof we did, but there you go. Just cover that up. Fill that in with wood. And looking good. So I can just take it all, copy and paste it. I actually learned I can click and drag. Someone actually mentioned that in the comments. It reminded me because I did see that in another YouTuber's video. I'm like, oh, that's a lot easier than just selecting every piece. But you have to make sure not to select any of the other pieces. But there we go. Got the roof done. Doing a little molding along the bottom. Adding our standard wooden support system all the way around. And then just filling it in. I want this city to be super dense. Like, walking around like there's no blank areas. There really shouldn't be any visible grass. There might be some just for like decorative purposes, but I want it to be a very dense medieval city with kind of paths winding around all over the place. Well, they're going to be on a grid, but you know what I mean. And then I wanted to work on a new lamp because we've been kind of using the same one. And especially for the outside of the main city area, I kind of wanted to build out the driftwood so it looks a lot more rugged and simplistic rather than just like the standard one we've been doing. So I grabbed some of the driftwood. I was able to get that ring piece and then flip this lantern over and just kind of hang it from it. And it looks a little quirky, but I think it's pretty cool looking. So we end up just using this as our main lighting throughout the entrance area here. Lighting isn't super pronounced right now because I did wait too long and the sun started rising. That's why everything has that kind of red tint or red hue to it. But you get the idea. These things don't cast off too much light anyway. I think these particular lamps do cast off a little bit more light than the standard hanging lamps, but you can't really see it right now, again, just because the sun is rising. And then I was trying to line those up in between the gaps of the ones that are up on the upper level. Then again, realizing, yeah, I want to remove this wall just because it's too high there and you couldn't really see anything from it. Because the viewpoint is really important for me in this one, because that's the whole point. Like, you're coming down this path, you go around this corner, and you see this massive wall. It's really supposed to be really big, impressive, and cool. Then just moving some of these buildings around, kind of have our main avenue in there. Then trying to figure out another ride we wanted to put in here. Wasn't sure what I wanted. This one, again, it doesn't really fit. It's airplanes around a skyscraper. Doesn't really make too much sense, but it looks alright. And then I didn't like where that merry-go-round is positioned, so we ended up moving it over to this little alleyway. And then here I was just experimenting with the smaller paths, trying to figure out some cool layouts. Nothing I meant to use, but you know, experiments for further usage. And then over here, I decided, okay, we can have the actual entrance of this building kind of punch through, or the entrance to this ride punch through this building. I think that'll look pretty cool. We do have a little bit of it sticking out, so we do eventually edit that. And then the ground was sticking up there, so I'm like, whatever, I'll just put this wooden piece down there, just kind of cover up the grass. And then this, I didn't like how this was hanging out. Hopefully in Alpha 3, they are planning on giving us the ability to remove these ride entrances, but I was like, okay, let's make a dangerously teetering pile of barrels. And I thought it looked pretty funny. There's a big pile of barrels there, so, you know, that kind of worked. Then I wanted to fill in this gap. We ended up building something a little weird. It's like a tower thing. My original idea was to make like a lookout tower, and then looking at some medieval designs and stuff, they had these cool bridges like in between buildings, and so I kind of want to do something with that. You'll see it evolve in a bit of an odd way, so think of it as like a weird lookout tower. I may use it to branch over the path to buildings in the future, but this was largely just experimentation. I was referencing a lot of artist renderings of medieval cities, and just kind of pulling ideas from that and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I just wanted something, because the problem is that it's a pretty narrow gap right there, so I couldn't really fit like a full-size building, so I wanted to do something like narrow and tall. It came out okay. There we go, just adding our wooden supports all the way around. Not really sure, like you can imagine that maybe there's like a spiral staircase in one of the legs. I don't know, something like that. But then just grabbing that building, filling in the gap. Oh, good. And then over here, I wanted to do something else. We lay down this. We don't do much with it yet. We'll probably do more decorating in this area in the next episode, guys. But that's going to be it for this episode of Planet Coaster. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy and want to see more in the future. I'll see you next time. Bye.